Come up, stay my bomb that I'm live. Hello, good evening. Thank you so much for joining me today. I realized I was muted and I've unmuted myself. All right. What's going on with Instagram? I just have a little technical issue I'm trying to fix on Instagram. It keeps blinking. So let me end and start the call again. And then we would no discard. We're back. Hello, good evening. Welcome. So sorry about this. A call keeps coming in and I'm trying to disconnect it. But please let me know if you can hear me audio. How is the audio on Facebook? How is the audio? And tell me the platform you're listening to me from. Is the audio fine? Can you hear me properly? If you can't, please let me know and I will be able to make the adjustments. We're having technical issues on Instagram. Hopefully that has been resolved. So please, Easy, tell me how the audio is. And for those listening on other platforms, tell me how the audio is also. Um, Gloria, Christiana, please, how is the audio? Can you hear me properly? It's a pastel. This is hello. Can you hear me? You can hear from Facebook. Fantastic. I can hear you. I can hear you. Fantastic. All right, that is good. Um, thank you so much for joining me. Easy. Let me know if you can hear me properly on Instagram. My mic isn't working today, so we're going to have to do without my mic. Someone is joining from LinkedIn and you can hear me loud and clear. The audio is clear. So without this thing, you can hear me. So there's no mic today, and I will try my best to raise my voice as much as I can because I don't have my microphone. My microphone just got bad, and we're going live tomorrow. But anyway, thank you all for joining me today. It's been amazing. We've done 30 days of this series where we've looked at how to get unstuck. So moving from stock to finish. So at now, when we got to the last time, we talked about having your 9 time routine. And that's something fantastic that everybody can have and everybody should have. But today we're going to do something a bit different. We're going to do a recap of what we've done for the past 29 days, 30 days. I want to, first of all, I need you all to give yourself a round of applause. You've been joining me for 30 days, 30 days of doing this, going live daily, and then you guys joining and taking advantage of this opportunity to improve yourself. So you all deserve a round of applause. Thank you all. And let's get started with today's session. So today we're going to do a recap and we're going to have a little quiz. You know, I love quizzes. We're going to do a recap of the first 15 days because then we need a little recap, then do a little quiz. But let's start where we always start with the definition of what we call being stuck. Thank you for clapping, Toyin. So we define someone that's stuck as an individual that knows they should set goals, but they don't set goals, or someone that knows they should set goals. They started, but somewhere along the line, they just got distracted and they forgot all about what they were working on. So the intention to work on your goal was there, and you just did not work on it, and something happened. So how do you get unstuck? How do you move from one end to the other? And if the audio is bad on Instagram, because someone complained on Instagram and said they could not hear. So if the audio is bad on Instagram, you can join us on the other platform because I noticed that Easy just shared the link with you guys. And Tony, please tell her that I'm on a call. So please leave her my message, Easy or Tony. One of you should help me do that. All right, let's get started. So someone that is stuck is someone that is unable to complete their projects. They start their calls, they start their projects, but they just find out they are stuck. So they may be overwhelmed, they may lack clarity, or they may just not have a plan. So we said it's about having what we call a personal productivity plan or a personal productivity system that has checks and balances that helps you stay on track. Thank you so much, Doyin. That has checks and balances that helps you stay on track. So that's what we talked about. So now we've talked about having self reflection. Self-reflection is important because you don't just want to go on having your day without reflecting on what you've done. So we talked about three different self-reflection exercises that we could do: the daily one, the weekly one, and the monthly one. At the end of the day, you ask yourself, what did I do today? Did I do what I said I was going to do? If I did not, what happened? If I did, what happened? So you're learning from your experience. So the first emphasis on self-reflection is this: learn from the past to build up the future. So yeah, you're not making the mistakes of the past, but you're able to reflect and take changes. Most of the time, we wait till almost the end of the year before we look at resolutions, before we set new goals. And sometimes we don't even need to set goals. We just need to refine our goals or do what we're doing tomorrow, which is called a reset. So it could be different things that you have to do, but self-reflection was one thing that we did on day 2. And from the conversations I've had with some people, it has helped them see the fact that the reason they are procrastinating is because they forgot or they just didn't pay attention to the way they were doing things. You notice that your boss always gets upset with you when you've done work. You don't remember till the time your boss is asking you for your own job. That's when you realize that, oh, I forgot again. But if you have this self-reflection exercises where you can review your day, find out what you did that day, you are able to actually improve yourself. So self-reflection was one of the things we learned about when we came to talking about personal productivity system. Now, why are we going beyond setting goals? This is what we understood. So we said it's not just about setting goals, but it's setting goals and planning, taking action. And this was all the way in day 3. So that's why we're doing the recap of the first few days only. It's not just about setting goals. Goals, everybody here knows that they should set smart goals. If anyone has heard about smart goals, please just write smart goals in the chat. Everybody knows that you set goals. Everybody knows that you should not procrastinate. Everybody knows that you should be doing certain things when you should be doing them. But what prevents us from taking action and taking action consistently? Why do we start something and then all of a sudden we are disrupted? We just don't go back to it. Is it because we do not know that we should set smart goals, or there was something else missing? So we came to the conclusion that goal setting was not enough. You need to, fantastic, you need to set smart goals and you need to have a plan for action. You need to have a plan. And that's the action plan we talked about. And the action plan it helps you turn your goals into reality. I will pause a little bit more here and talk a bit more about this. When you set goals, what we also identified is that you set goals for different areas of your life. Now, for example, when we say your goal should be specific, your goal cannot be, I want to be more spiritual as a Christian. What does that mean to you and why? So you're asking yourself difficult questions and you're being honest and vulnerable. Thank you, Tony. You're not just asking these questions because you feel like ticking a box that DK said I should ask myself this question. I will ask this question. But one thing we said when you're doing self reflection that I want everyone to remember is that you're taking ownership of your personal growth, and also you are being honest and vulnerable with yourself. So you're stating where you are, not where you wish you are. So when you do your self reflection exercise, if you're someone that is procrastinating, that starts habits and you don't complete it, that is always going in circles, that's what you're going to state. You're not going to state that, oh, I'm always perfect. I'm someone that whenever I say I will do something, I will do it. What's the danger? I don't know if anybody can remember, but what's the danger of lying to yourself when it comes to setting goals and gaining clarity about where you are going? We'll touch that on that in a few minutes. I'll see if somebody will type. But another thing you have to understand is why. Why do you want to achieve this goal? Are you achieving this goal because everybody is becoming a project manager? Everybody is becoming a social media manager. Everybody buys KK, you go and buy KK. Everybody starts pure water business. You want, your goal is to have the number one pure water business, and all of a sudden it's now farming. Are you following trends, or are you following what you want for yourself? Why do we have to pay attention to details when it comes to doing what we do? That's another thing we addressed when it came to goal setting. And the conclusion was this: we should go beyond just setting goals, but we should have an action plan. An action plan takes every task that you're going to do to accomplish that goal and it breaks them down. so you are able to actually accomplish what you want to accomplish. So it's not just I have a goal to go to the gym. I want to lose 10 kg. I know many of you don't want me to lose 10 kg, but I want to lose 10 kg. That's my goal. How do I want to lose 10 kg? It has to be by my diet and my food. So those are two different things. I say my diet and food, that's one thing, and fitness. So what's my exercise plan? What's my nutritional plan? I'm breaking down this goal into bite sizes. And then I'm putting a start date and say, on the 1st of July 2023, I will go for my first gym class. I've realized I work better in gym classes. I'm going to go in for the class. I will sign up first. So you're being as specific as possible. And if you miss this, trust me, you want to listen to day 3. Then we got into the issue of productivity, and I call it an issue because there are certain myths about productivity that people have that are wrong. So we addressed that. We talked about the fact that productivity was not about doing more, but by doing what is important. But before you do what's important, you need to define what's important to you. So that's what we did on day 4. And we said time management is important. So we have to talk about looking at techniques that can help us improve time, techniques that can help us embrace our creativity and productivity at the same time. Because what we discovered is this: are you aware that productivity and creativity do not exist together well? The creative person just wants to be free, but creativity needs to be managed and nurtured. So productivity and creativity do not exist so well. So as we're doing this recap, get ready. You're going to do a quiz, and I'm excited to see the people that will respond to this. So I'm giving you hints on the answers, or am I? I'm not sure. Then we talked about building resilience. When we're setting goals, there is a tendency for you to think that once I set this goal and I do this, everything will come to pass, everything will be fantastic. And the answer is that that's not true. You're going to hit roadblocks, you're going to have obstacles, but some of these obstacles you can understand them and define them in advance, so you can actually be proactive and not reactive. So on day 5, we talked about building resilience and the role of resilience in personal growth. I'll give myself as an example. When I fell into entrepreneurship, I was just doing it because it was fun, it was something creative, it was also something I intended to do long time. But eventually it has become a business, and there have been so many stumbling blocks. There have been so many obstacles. These obstacles, rather than making me run away and fold my arms and say, I'm no longer doing this, they've actually built me up. And I've learned from not just my own mistakes, I've learned from other people's mistakes. I've learned the power of having accountability, the honest truth and reflection from people that want the best from you. So all those things have made me build resilience. I've learned to overcome obstacles. And one thing we understood from this day is that we need to have our definition of success. So, what's your definition of success? Let me know your definition of success in the chat. Because on the path to success, if you do not know what you will define as successful, how will you know if you've gotten there, or how will you know if you've gone astray? So success means different things to different people, but on the path to success, it's not a straight road. There have been so many illustrations on social media that I see about how success is zigzag, it's not a straight line. And if everybody wants to draw their success route, I'm sure you're going to draw it with lots of obstacles. But you need to actually have your own definition of success. Do you have your definition of success? How do you know when you're successful and how do you know when you're not? Building resilience is something that you can do with time. But what we agreed on was this: you need to be kind to yourself. You need to be intentional about what you are building. You need to understand that it takes patience and it takes being vulnerable with yourself in order for you to build resilience, and you can't do it alone. So that's why we're having the commitment circle. That's why I am a part of a mastermind. That's why I'm part of expert business school. I had to seek help in a way that I could now overcome some obstacles on my own after coaching. So find what works for you. It could be through books, it could be through relationships, but don't try going in on your own. One topic that we talk about a lot is about our mindsets. Mindsets. We talked about the fact that you can have a growth mindset or a fixed mindset. Now, a fixed mindset just looks at things as they are, nothing can be changed. Oh, if everybody is failing in this industry, that means I would fail. That's a fixed mindset. You are not thinking about ways to improve yourself. Or this is how I am. After my degree, I did my master's, I did this. That's all I need. That's a fixed mindset. You are staying in your comfort zone. You're not even willing to expand yourself or to enrich yourself. You're not empowering yourself. You're not reaching out for help. You just feel that the world is wrong for everybody and everybody is bound to fail. A growth mindset is more learning and development oriented. It's thinking about embracing challenges. It's thinking about embracing learning opportunities, not as seeing them as stumbling blocks, but as opportunities for growth. We talked about techniques of for cultivating a growth mindset, and it comes with taking ownership of your personal growth. And this is one thing we've said before and we'll say again. Do not outsource your personal growth to someone. And when you are struggling, make friends with the right people. Join a community of people that are on the same or similar journeys with you so you can help each other grow. The truth is, it's not going to be every day that I am excited. There are sometimes I need to rely on Wura. There are sometimes I will call Bolu and cry my eyes out. There are sometimes it is difficult. But when we have a growth mindset, we see opportunities where other people see disasters. And that is the mindset that sets you to win. Because this series, if we're looking at how to move from stock to finish, it's simply this. I want to change the way you get things done. I want to inspire you to do things in a way that brings out the best of you. I want you to leverage your skills, your ideas, your qualifications in order for you to achieve what you can achieve because everybody has what it takes. But few people go in and sit down with themselves to have meetings with themselves in order for them to grow before they look externally. So before you look outside, look within and improve yourself. So do this by listening to podcasts, not every time viral videos. Think of what you can do to grow yourself. There are free books. The funny part about the growth mindset and the fixed mindset conversation is this. We live in a generation where we have more access to information than any other generation. At your fingertips, you can get information that you need that will transform you. But we have a generation that people are not learning, they are not reading, they are not going out there to improve themselves. So, are we better off with more information or less information? That's another conversation for another day. This was one of my favorite topics, if not my favorite for week one, because it talks about emotional intelligence and self awareness. When we talk about self awareness, we talked about the fact that, like I said, this is a recap. We talked about the fact that as individuals, you need to know yourself more than you know any other person. So, not just about being emotional intelligence in your conversations with others, but in your conversations with yourself. You're developing the self awareness about who you are, but you're going further. You're accepting who you are. Emotional intelligence is about having that self awareness, accepting who you are, and taking action. So we called it self awareness, self acceptance, and self action. The three SAs for this personal growth. It's not just about doing more, it's about understanding that you have what it takes. It's not just about beating yourself down and saying, oh, I'm an introvert, I will not be able to network. Rather, you say, okay, I accept the fact that I'm an introvert. Introverts are amazing. Who are the introverts in the world? Dr. Google is your friend. You check, oh, these are introverts that are thriving. Okay. That means you've accepted that who you are. You've done your research and you're like, okay, what's my action plan to ensure that when I go for an event, I can network better? Yes, I'm introspective, but how do I network better? For an extrovert, it could be the same conversation you're having with yourself. But one thing that we said that is compulsory is this. Emotional intelligence starts with you having meetings with yourself and being bored sometimes. Not every time you want to do things exciting. Sometimes you want to do certain things that are boring, that just make you sit still in order for you to detox from the world and pay attention to how you feel actually, not how you should be feeling. And all these things come back to being intentional, being honest, being vulnerable with yourself, and not shooting yourself in the foot when you're giving yourself feedback. One skill that we need to have is communication skill. But when we talk about communication skill, we said we're not just going to talk about how to give a speech, how to communicate with people. We wanted to go beyond that and talk about something else. And we talked about the art of active listening, because so many people are great at talking, but when it comes to listening to others, they're really bad at it. How does active listening help you in your personal growth journey? How does it make you the better, best version of yourself? Because it enhances relationships and even makes you communicate better. When you do more listening than speaking, you hear twice. You are able to look at things from other people's perspective, especially when you are listening to understand, not listening to respond. So many times when we listen to certain people's lectures, we are just waiting to find the loopholes in them. There's this Asian or this Chinese word I'm trying to remember, but it says approach every learning opportunity like you're a beginner. Some of us are not learning and are not active listeners because we approach every single thing like we're professionals. We can't wait to cut something down when someone is doing something. Rather than paying attention to what the person is saying and knowing how to respond, we are on the defensive all the time. So that was the end of day 8. Now, how many of you never get stressed in this world? Please let us know, because we talked about stress management a little bit and the fact that mindfulness, being intentional, helps you to manage stress. Stress will come, but what are the activities we can do to manage the stress that we have? Remember, the aim is to get you to finish what you started. And one reason people don't finish what they started is they are overwhelmed. So you find yourself overwhelmed, you find yourself scared, you find yourself unable to focus, and you have to find a very, very intentional, active way of managing your stress, a way that is making you slow down, which is not what most of you want to hear, to go faster. So that we talk about mindfulness. We didn't really go into breathing techniques, but we talked about journaling and other strategies that could improve your well-being. Day 28, we talked a lot about journaling. We talked about the importance of journaling, the different types of journals that you can have. And we said journaling is just scribing, it's just writing. And I recommended a book. I don't know if anyone can remember the books I recommended. Please let me know in the chat. But we recommended books that you could read that could help you out with stress management, especially when you are a creative. Have you ever had writer's block? Have you ever felt that I don't feel like creating? I'm just not, I don't just feel inspired to create. I just feel underwhelmed. Nothing seems to be working. Sometimes sitting still and practicing mindfulness may help you. Journaling may help you. Going for a walk may help you. Creativity comes from a place of rest, not a place of stress. When you're stressed, you can't think well. Some people feel that, oh, they need to be hyper, but that's different between being stressed. Stress is not something that your body needs. So you have to find a way to work for the body you have, not the body you wish you have. And that was the end of day 9. And self-care is not about buying candles. Oh. So when you hear self-care, don't think it's about going to the spa alone, buying candles, soaking in the bathtub, massages. That's not what self-care is about alone. Self-care is about having routines that suit your needs, about you slowing down in order to pay attention and listen to your body. So the other part was listening to others. Now we're talking about how can you listen to your body? Why should you listen to your body? Why should you pay attention to your well-being? So it's coming up with a routine, a way for you to actually pay attention to yourself. And when we talk about routines, ritual habits, we said routines, ritual habits are things that we do that become part and parcel of us. An habit eventually becomes a routine, then it becomes a ritual. So there's a process to it. So you start daily and you're thinking in habits. Eventually you build it into a routine. Eventually you build it into a ritual. Rituals become second nature where you don't have to think about it. Now, going live has become a routine for me daily because I'm not going to do it for the rest of my life. But if I record videos every Tuesday for my podcast, it becomes a ritual that I have to stick to. So, what works for you when it comes to self care and your well being? On day 11, power of affirmations, speaking positively to yourself. Are you aware that most people's dreams die in their head before it even comes out of their mouth, in their minds? It's because of the way we talk to ourselves. Let's pause and reflect on this for a while. Do you talk to yourself in a way that empowers yourself, or do you critique every single thing that you do? Do you see only the worst part of yourself, or do you see the best of yourself? Do you see yourself as someone that is only going to fail, or do you see yourself as someone that is empowered to succeed? Do you believe in yourself? How do you speak to yourself? And that was the positive thinking and self-talk we talked about. It's not just about saying is manifestation, like the world has used it. I'm not talking about manifestation. I'm talking about the way you speak to yourself on your growth. Do you see yourself and do you speak to yourself as someone that has already achieved what they want to achieve? Some of us don't say, oh, I can never be this. And you are training to be a coach and I can never be a coach. You are speaking negatively and positively at the same time. Your mind is confused. Let's stop confusing our minds. Let's look for techniques that we can use to cultivate a positive mindset. And I say that should be self-talk, the power of positive self-talk, power of affirmations, words you speak to yourself. And my own suggestion was this: write out positive things about yourself that you speak to yourself regularly. As a Christian, I would say write out prayers and put scriptures to it about how you see yourself, and then speak these things to yourself regularly. Because your belief system helps motivate you. And if that's what it's going to take for you to speak to yourself positively and see yourself the way you were created to be seen, then do it. Do what it takes. Be intentional about doing every single it takes to position yourself for success. So we've talked about habits a little, but how do you cultivate positive, healthy habits? Is it possible to cultivate habits? Some people say, well, I'm an adult now. Well, leave that side. I can't cultivate habits again. It's too late for me. But is it? Is it too late for you to learn something new? Is it too late for you to actually improve the way you get things done? Is it too late for you to invest in yourself, in your personal growth by having healthy habits? My answer is it's not too late. You see some 70-year-olds, that's when they decide to wake up and they're starting businesses. For some people, they started at the age of 40. Some people started younger. Wherever you wake up, in my own, this is my definition. What I mean by wake up, I'm not saying everybody's asleep, but there are some times that you are not aware of certain things. Maybe you were not aware that you could cultivate healthy habits, and now you want to start. The day you start staying is the brand new day for you. That's the day you start, not the day you were born, not the things that you've done in the past. Yes, the past leaves footprints for us to learn from. However, as individuals, we are actually doing something positive when we decide to invest in our personal growth. We're not outsourcing our personal growth. So, for those that say they want to read books, pick out the books you want to read in advance and then set a time for yourself to read daily. Oh, I can't read daily. Maybe on your commute to work, you're listening to the book. Find a way to make your personal growth part and parcel of who you are. It should be something you do daily. Show up for yourself daily. Learn something new daily. We talked about three types of goals we're going to set this week: our learning goal, our sharing goal, and what's the last one? Our working goal. So, the working goal was simply this: what's one project you've been putting aside for too long? It could be to arrange a drawer. It could be to delete apps from your phone. Whatever it is, just count five, four, three, two, one, and do it. That's it. Sometimes we don't need 1 year. We just need to count, like Mel Robinson says, five, four, three, two, one, and start. We need to push ourselves. And sometimes it will take a lot of effort on our part. But if we're willing, we are capable. Then we talked about building confidence and self esteem. How, even if you don't have self esteem today, that doesn't mean you won't have tomorrow. We talked about overcoming self doubt and limiting beliefs. That there are limiting beliefs we believe of ourselves. Remember when I talked about your mind is a place where some people have killed their dreams because of how they see themselves. Now, the limiting beliefs we have may have affected our attitude to work. So, because we were children that liked playing and we saw work as something interrupting what we were doing that was fun, till date we don't like work, so we have a negative attitude to work, so we don't see ourselves as people that can perform well. So limiting beliefs, self-doubt, they kill more things than any other thing. So what we talked about on the day 13, I've now mixed up the dates, was embracing your strengths, understanding where you are good. I talked about taking the strength finder test. The one I recommend is the Gallup strength finder, but there are other strength finder tests that you can take that show you what you actually are naturally good at. Strength finder is the principle that says that rather than focusing on our weaknesses, we should focus on our strengths. Most of us neglect our strengths and pay more attention to our weaknesses. So, what we do by doing that is that we don't improve on the areas that are naturally good at. We're naturally good at, and we're struggling at the ones that we're not good at. As Shola Alabi says, competence builds confidence. So if you find your strength and you start working on things that are strength based, that doesn't mean lifting weights. You see that you are in a better position to work on other things because you have the confidence to do that. Creativity and innovation. Now, this is a topic that we did not spend so much time on. When it comes to creativity and productivity and innovating, most creatives don't want to be told to have a routine. Most of them don't want to solve problems. They struggle to embrace tools. AI tools are coming, everybody is scared of them. Whatever industry you are in, embrace AI tools. Use them because what they do is that they shorten your time. They don't make you lazy because you've already earned your craft. What you're going to try and do is try and be innovative, but also be productive. And why we say creativity and productivity can work together and nurture personal growth is this: in order to be creative, you need to have time to create. I call it creating time to create. In order to do anything worth doing well, you need to have time. And you cannot have time if you're not productive. So we add the effectiveness versus efficiency conversation. Are you supposed to be more effective than efficient? Move all that aside and just take this if you're taking anything today. In order to be creative, you need time. In order to be innovative with your creativity, you need time. So let's move from just talking about time management to respecting time. If you respect your time and the time of others, you will do better. Some of us, when we want people to do things for us, we are snappy. And then we drag our feet and we think that whenever we want call on them, they will answer us. Creativity and innovation is not just dependent on you, it's also dependent on others. So when you are nurturing your creativity, especially if you are working in a group, be considerate of those in the group. Play your own part because your own part is a piece of the puzzle. However, if you work on your own, I have good news for you. All the work is going to be done by you. So you need to have a plan. You need to have a schedule and you need to stick to that schedule. We talked about self-discipline. We talked about the fact that you need to keep your commitment to your commitment and so many other things that we've talked about the past couple of days. Then continuous learning and development, continuous improvement. I think this was a conversation for one of the days we talked. And we said that you do not outsource your growth to anybody. You take part of your growth, you take ownership of your growth, you make your commitment and you keep your commitment to your commitment. But if you are talking about lifelong learning, there are things coming up that you have to learn. There are things coming up that you have to dedicate time to learn. And if you do not create that time on your schedule for learning one thing a week, you are going to go still. So part of the knowledge economy is knowledge acquisition. So we need to think of effective strategies for knowledge acquisition. All the former procrastinators in the house say hey. Because after this conversation on procrastination, I'm sure we've all stopped procrastinating. But we realize that people don't procrastinate because they are lazy. They procrastinate because they think they have time. They think time it will be there when they want it. They forget that time when spent cannot be retrieved. They could be overwhelmed and don't know how to make the first step. So they are scared of starting, or they failed once, or they stopped once, and then they feel that they've become failures. So we talked about time management strategies. We talked about creating a productive work structure and a couple of other things that we feel will be able to help you improve your productivity. We also looked at work life balance and a couple of other effective things that we've done. So I think that was me doing a speedy recap of what we did. And let me go to the chat to see what everyone is saying. I think everyone has gone off Instagram, so I can take this down. I was holding the camera so that the Instagram feature will be good. Self-care is part for you. It's introverts are creative people. They are great writers, music composers, poets, and so on. I agree. Do not outsource your personal growth to people. I like your definition of success. Ibukun says, I define success as accomplishment. Fantastic. Wilson says, success is achieving your set goals or the ones given to you. So everybody has their definition of success. So one thing you should take about from this conversation is, what's your definition of success? You need to know your definition of success. Now, let's look at a couple of questions that we can ask ourselves so that we know that we have gained something from today. And I want you to put your answers in the chat. So I'm going to wait till you put your answer and then we'll move to the next one. So, what's the purpose of self reflection in personal development? Is it about improving your physical fitness? Is it to gain self awareness and insight? Is it to learn a new skill or to socialize with others? Why do we need self reflection when it comes to our personal growth and development? So you have A, B, C, D. A, improve physical fitness. B, to gain self awareness and insight. C, to learn a new skill. Or D, to socialize with people. Why do you think we need self reflection as individuals? A, B, C, or D? Okay, let's move to the next question because of time. And once I leave this page, I may not come back immediately. The second question is going to help you think about effective goal setting, because we talked about going beyond goal setting, but that means you have to start at goal setting. Name 2 strategies for effective goal setting. Number 1, A is procrastination and indecisiveness. B is mindfulness and meditation. C is specificity and time bound. D is randomness or spontaneity. I will give you a clue for this one. It's about your SMART goals. So we said B for the first one. So mindfulness for the first one, you said B. Let's go back to the first one and then we can look at the second one. To gain self-awareness and insight. That's correct. The first one, the purpose is to gain self-awareness and insight. So we're looking at 2 strategies for effective goal setting. What are 2 strategies for effective goal setting? Based on what you know, is it about procrastination and indecision, mindfulness and meditation, specificity and time bound, randomness and spontaneity? Let's see if you remember your SMART goals. I've already given the answer for this one, but it's based on SMART goals. We said they should be specific and time bound. Let's move to the next. So, how can you improve the time management and productivity? What's one thing I always say when it comes to productivity? Is it that I always say you need to multitask and procrastinate? You need to set unrealistic goals. You need to prioritize tasks and create scheduling. You need to ignore deadlines and commitments. When it comes to improving time management and productivity, what do you need to do? Do you need to ignore time management? Do you need to set unrealistic goals? Do you need to prioritize tasks and create schedules? So we have A, B, C, D. A is multitasking and procrastination. B, specific and time bound. Thank you so much, Catherine. Specific and time bound. Question 3. What is resilience and why is it important for personal growth? We know all this is about personal growth. It's about avoiding challenges and difficulty, bouncing back from setback and adversity, having a fixed mindset, or staying in the comfort zone. What is resilience? What is resilience? So A, B, C, D, and just write your number and then B. Oh, I've already said the answer. I already said the answer as B. Okay, so let's move to the next one. I don't know if the responses are coming late or me, I'm very fast. Define a growth mindset and explain its significance. So it's believed that intelligence is fixed and unchangeable, embracing challenges and persisting through obstacles, avoiding feedback and constructive criticism, focusing solely on natural talents. Now let's talk about these options because I think I love the options. The power of one, prioritize tasks and create schedule. I think I can see that people are listening to me. I think with this one, um, let's see, define a growth mindset and why is it significant? Let's move the significance and just look at define a growth mindset. So is it believed that intelligence is fixed and unchangeable? Is it about embracing challenges and persisting through obstacles, avoiding feedback and constructive criticism, or focusing solely on natural talent? And the reason I said I want to pause here a little bit is this. There are so many of us that don't like receiving feedback. Be fantastic, Esther. There are so many of us that don't like receiving feedback. When we are the ones giving feedback, we are excited. But when someone gives us the same feedback we were giving others, we get moody. There are so many of us that I struggle with feedback. When you tell me what I've done is wrong, if I've done a design, it's as if you've told me that I am wrong. There's something wrong with me. I need help. And that thing can be demoralizing, especially as a content creator. When somebody rejects your design or said, oh, align this, put one sentence this way. I don't like the way this is. The way someone might tell you what you've done isn't good may not be the best. But one thing we need to have with a growth mindset is this willingness to learn from people's feedback, even if we don't like the way it is coming. So we should be patient enough to listen to the message, not and ignore the messenger sometimes, because the message may be useful and may be what you need at that point in time. So yes, it's about embracing challenges and persisting through obstacles, because challenges will come and there will be obstacles. In the past 30 days, because I can't believe I've gone live for 30 days, and it is difficult to actually come live every day with slides. Today I even started. I didn't have plan to have slides, and I just said last minute, you know what? Just do a recap and do a quick quiz. And the reason I decided to do that because I said, oh, I wanted people to remember what we talked about and understand that it's still about us learning from challenges. So the past 30 days have not been easy for me preparing slides every day, but I had already made a commitment and I decided to stick to it. And I'm glad I did, because for me, it's been, and the team, it's been eye opening. It's been very, very transformative, because that's when we now started looking at attitude to work and certain things that we were not taking into consideration. Remember, we said attitude to work is how you see work or how you see chores. You see work as chores. So when it's something that has to do with reading, learning, improving yourself, doing anything, you just don't want to do it because you see it as a punishment. But if we retrain our mind and have a growth mindset, we're going to see our contributions we make when we read. We see it as a way to improve ourselves and set us up for better opportunities. We are able to transform our lives and reinvent our lives. So many people are queens of reinventing themselves. I am a queen of reinventing myself. When I decided I wasn't doing my PhD again, it was quite difficult. But then gradually I started reinventing myself. I know when we did the Elite Social Media Manager Junior last year, when we started, I said whether you have a degree or no degree, you have to understand that it's your brain that is important. What do you do to yourself? Oh, fantastic. How do you improve yourself? What can you do to be the best version of yourself? It starts small and it increases gradually by consistency. So, what we've established from the beginning to the end of this series is this: in order for us to go from stock to unstuck, we have to be intentional about what we do. We cannot neglect our minds. We cannot neglect where we are. We have to know our current position. So that's why that vulnerability exercise is needed, where you are vulnerable with yourself and you are able to tell yourself the truth about how you are faring. So if you're not doing so well in a certain area, you can improve yourself. But if you act like everything is okay, there's going to be no way for you to improve yourself. So why do we start from the past and then move forward? Why do we learn from the past? Because the past leaves insights for us, it leaves data for us. And tomorrow we'll be looking at the data this past leaves for us. And this data is what we're going to use to make informed decisions about ourselves. When you want to go from stock to unstock to finish, you need to first of all realize that every decision you make moving forward can either take you towards your goal or away from your goal. What I want to encourage people to do this, if you're not joining us for tomorrow's stuff, is this: reflect on the past 30 days, find out what we've done. I think if I want to tell you that there's a lot that has been done in 30 days, but if you sit down with it, even if you pick one part of it and focus on it, your life will be transformed. When it comes to procrastination, putting things aside, not setting goals for yourself, not even dreaming about what you can be or who you can be, it limits your ability to function. Most of us are not functioning with 5% of our creativity because we've killed our creative gifts, because the four walls of an academic institution made us to kill those gifts. So what we're doing with this is outside the four walls, in the platform that is without walls, we are going back to who we are, embracing who we are and moving forward. Personal growth is not a destination. It's not just giving you a certificate and saying you've graduated, congratulations. No, it goes beyond certification. It's about understanding that it is a continuous journey and there will be ups and downs along the way. So when we say we are resilient, we do this self-reflection. When we are stuck, we accept that we are stuck and unable to move forward, and then make changes and then transition to another phase. The only way we can move from one level to the other is when we reflect on the data that we have. So your data is you asking yourself questions, is the notes that you've taken, is the changes that you are making, is the goals that you are setting. And when you feel stuck, look for accountability. Accountability can be from your peers, accountability can be from mentors. Most people go to mentors with this and in arts in and attitude of, I want to take from you, but they don't even realize what they can give to their mentors. Most people are used, our mentors are used to people coming and making requests. So when they see people, they just say, oh, this person is about to ask me for something, they shut down. The way we can also learn from others is by also giving. The way to be a good get a good accountability partner is by being accountable to yourself. We've talked about self discipline, we've talked about self accountability, and we've talked about ownership of your goals. So I think I want to leave you with a few final thoughts. Each day gives you a new opportunity to grow, learn, and make a positive impact. That's the truth. You have a new day, you have a new opportunity. Don't dwell on the past or what did not work for too long. But by reflecting on what did not work, you can pick lessons and you can transform your life. But I want to say thank you to every single person that's joined me for the past 30 days and those that joined later. I know I wasn't sharing the link earlier, but thank you all for joining me. However, tomorrow we have an amazing workshop coming up, and I would like you to join me if you've not registered. And it's called The Reset. Now, the reset is this wonderful idea that we've gotten to the middle of the year, 6 months have gone. Most of us have not accomplished our goals. We are stuck or we're accomplishing our goals. We're happy, but we want to plan for the remaining 6 years. I say 6 years, 6 months, and have what I call a personal productivity system. So a personal productivity system goes beyond goal setting, and that's what we're going to be working on tomorrow. So it's a combination of a masterclass and a workshop. So if you've registered, get your pen, get warm drinks, get comfortable. From 6 to 8 p.m. tomorrow, we meet on Zoom. You should have received the registration link. But if you've not registered, I welcome you to register, and somebody on the team will post the link on the platform that you are on so you can register immediately. But it's a paid workshop, so it's the first one we've done since 2016. It's been such a long time. But we're going to deal with procrastination and create your roadmap for you, and we're going to look at how you can build your own community and get accountability. And we're going to share how you can join our own community also and get accountability from us. But all in all, it's an amazing opportunity for you to plan for the next 6 months without making mistakes you made in the first 6 months. Get your roadmap, Start setting goals, start working towards achieving goals, and be the best version of yourself. 2023 still has 6 months. So don't say the year has gone, I'll wait till 2024. You still have 6 months left. Even if you have 1 month, you still have time. Time is all that you have. 1st of January is just a date. Sometimes we want to set resolutions and do things. Although tomorrow we're going to be talking about the right way to write resolutions and how you should resolve to be the best version of yourself. But that's just part of what we will be discussing tomorrow. And I'm so excited to have you all join me on this journey. Catherine, thank you so much for posting the link. I'm not sure who is listening on YouTube today. Catherine has posted the link on LinkedIn. So you should have the link in the chat if you want to register. And I think we should give room for questions if anybody has questions. We've got 7 more minutes. I said today's one was going to be the longest because it's usually 45 minutes we meet for. And tomorrow we're meeting for 3 hours. I'm excited. You can tell. So thank you all for joining me today. I am excited that we've come to the end. Now, what's the plan after this? We're going to have 10 live sessions in July. The date and everything will be communicated during the week ahead, which is our Sunday live series that we do every Sunday evening. So we're going to communicate that at the week ahead on LinkedIn on Sunday evening by 9 p.m. if I'm not mistaken, Esther. But Esther and I planned that together. But I have an amazing team. They've been working hard behind the scenes to take over my Instagram page. So I didn't have to think about content and all the things that will make us work together. But anyway, thank you all for joining today. I hope you had an amazing time. Thank you for your contribution. Wilson, thank you. Catherine Tobichuku, Uncle Allison, um, Christiana, Edith, Oluwatosin, Catherine, Gloria. Thank you all and have a wonderful night. Those are people that commented. That's why I could see their names. Thank you and have a wonderful night.